Coming up on Michigan Replay, it may have been a bye week, but we've still got plenty of Wolverine football to talk about. We'll also meet a surprise starter from Game 1 who has performed better than anyone could have imagined in a very tough and high-profile job. And we'll look ahead to next week. Michigan returns to Big Ten action, and we'll scout the Northwestern Wildcats. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Chevrolet. Stop by your Detroit area Chevy dealers or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, the Wolverines had a Saturday off, but I would bet that Coach Lloyd Carr, you didn't take a Saturday off. You were heavy into football.
Well, I watched a lot of football, Jim, and it was fun. It was fun, except that I always find myself emotionally involved cheering for some team, and they almost invariably lose.
How about the week off from the standpoint of your team? Did the rest help kind of get healed up the nicks and bruises? You said last week that the bye couldn't have come in a better week.
Well, I think anytime you're coming off an emotional game like we had, regardless of the outcome of that game, it's tough the next week. And so I think from a physical standpoint, I think from a mental and emotional standpoint, it was really a good week. We got an opportunity to work with some of our younger players, some of the players that play in backup roles that didn't get an opportunity to play much in recent weeks, but have to be ready to play here as we close out the season. And we got some rest, and we got some time to work on midterms.
Midterm exams.
You remember those?
Oh, do I ever? I used to break out. I used to
cram.
I used to break out in a cold sweat when anyone mentioned midterms. What about coaches? You guys had an emotional week too. How about the coaching staff? I mean, you're getting ready, I know, for Northwestern and all that stuff, but still, you had to be able to sit back and kind of recharge.
It does give you probably an extra day or so to relax and enjoy a victory. You know, most times coming up the tunnel, you begin thinking about the next game, and of course, we didn't have to do that this week. But our coach is on the road recruiting Thursday and Friday, so that part of it never ends. And but we did get a little bit of a break, so we're ready to go.
Ready to go, recharged, ready to go for Northwestern?
Recharged.
That's what we're looking for. When we come back, we will take a look at some of the contributors who happen to be freshmen and sophomores who really made their mark on this year's club. And I also want you all to stay tuned right out of the break. Coming back to the Michigan Replay Show, I want you to take a look at what we're going to bring you, because Lloyd and I are going to discuss that when we return. But first, we hear from Garrett Rivas. Talks about that bye week being a great week to recharge.
This week, anyways, I'm going to just kind of take it easy. I'm going to give my leg a rest so I can come back, Northwestern week and have a really strong leg.
Michigan Replay takes you inside the locker room.
Well, I didn't get home till 1:30. First of all, Bob Lipson and Bramstetter and that crew, it took them 3 hours to get ready, which is far too long, and I hope they'll get better at that.
People,
Jim, it's the
truth.
You know, if it weren't for me, I don't know what this show would be like.
We tape the show Saturday nights after the game, and you have the audacity on Monday to the throng of media to rip on Lipson and I, when you can't stop talking, and that's why we wanted you to get tired out so that you wouldn't talk so much.
Well, it was fun being with you anyway.
That isn't what you told everybody else.
Well,
Yeah, I know. You can have all the fun you want with us.
The truth is, this is the best produced show in football.
And you're absolutely.
And you're the best host. And you don't have much to work with. So good job.
You need more bye weeks during the season because you're all right. Yeah, Let's get back to football. We've had our fun. Young guys. You've talked beginning of the year. This was a young team, and you've had guys really come up and contribute during the course of the season, and build the foundation for a long success.
Well, Jim, you always hope during the season you get a lot of young guys an opportunity to play a role in your team because their experience, the confidence it gives them. I don't remember a team that we've had as many young people get an opportunity to play, and I think they've invariably really contributed to the success of our season.
And up the offensive line here, Reuben Riley did a great job, but he didn't start at the beginning of the year.
Well, when Leo Hennigy went out with his knee injury, Reuben was prepared. He's gotten better, and he's done a good job in there.
And Jake Long, also a guy who didn't start at the beginning of the year.
Well, Jake Long was competing for a starting position going back to the spring, and eventually, early in the season, won that opportunity, and he's done a wonderful job considering he's a redshirt freshman.
Adrian Arrington is a young freshman who's gotten some playing time and looks like a good one.
Well, he's got an opportunity to play, and I think it's helped his confidence, and of course, from an experience standpoint, it's been very positive.
Two really nice freshman running back, Max Martin and, of course, Michael Hart will be coming up in a minute.
Well, Max Martin got an opportunity to play more here in recent weeks and has really been able to spell Michael Hart. And, of course, Michael Hart has had one of those seasons that nobody would expect from a true freshman. He had an opportunity to earn the starting position, and he's had a wonderful year.
And you love the attitude of Clayton Richard, young quarterback who's had some tough stuff to deal with, but he's hung in there.
Well, I think, Jim, the backup quarterback is always as difficult a position because you're one snap away, and Clayton has prepared, he's worked hard. I think he's improved significantly, and he will be prepared if something requires him to come in and lead this team.
And nobody ever foresaw what Chad Henne was going to do.
Well, I think it's a credit to him and the attitude and the work ethic, and of course, I give a lot of credit to Scott Leffler, who's developed him, and Terry Malone, who's not given him so much that he couldn't handle.
A couple of guys up front defensively, Alan Branch and Will Paul, have been solid contributors.
Well, Will Paul's a redshirt freshman, and I think he's finally he had some issues health-wise, and he's really come on. And of course, Alan Branch, a true freshman, has stepped into the rotation, give us a lot of valuable snaps.
And you've gotten a lot of players on defense that contribute special teams and in the place from scrimmage. Guys like Prescott Burgess, and here Chris Graham. Your special teams have really improved.
Well, Prescott Burgess has really come on after moving from strong safety, which he played in high school with Warren Harding High School, and really beginning to play like we thought he would. And you're right, Chris Graham and Anton Campbell, those guys all have contributed on special teams. Jamar Adams, Ryan Mundy became the starting safety. So Grant Mason has had an absolutely wonderful year after becoming eligible after transferring from Stanford University.
So a lot of these young guys that we're seeing here, the contributions come on special teams, but they're also learning how to play so that they can get in there and get the job done when they're asked to, when the ball is set and from scrimmage.
Well, Jamar Adams, for example, Jim, is working as a backup at the safety position, as is Brandon Engelman. So the more you can play and contribute, I think the great thing is that our special teams have been improved. And I think one of the reasons is we've had so many of these young guys really take their role as special teams players extremely important, and they've made a difference in our team.
And you mentioned Grant Mason. Here's a kid that at one time he was a receiver and he moved to defensive back.
Well, last spring we played him as a receiver and as a defensive back, or last fall, and then in the springtime moved to the secondary. He's been a very good special teams player as well as a kick returner and in our nickel package.
I think the one thing that's interesting is the fact that if kids are good enough and they work hard enough and they've got the opportunity, youngsters will play at Michigan. I mean, you feel that way?
Yeah, Jim, I think that probably we're having more freshmen play than at any time ever, because first of all, we have so many guys that are ready to play. The numbers, there's always opportunities for guys that come in who are in great shape, who want to play as true freshmen. There's a lot of guys out there today that want to come in and redshirt and develop and use that first year. So I think we've been able to be flexible enough that if a guy wants to play, we can find a role for him. If he doesn't, we don't.
And the other thing I think too, that the overall picture, the fact that they compete with the guys that are already here makes everybody better. You've always preached that if you're a veteran guy, you got to compete week in and week out, practice in and practice out in order to maintain that position, because guys are behind you, pushing you, and if it's a young guy, it's a young guy, but it makes the team better.
Well, I think that's a foundation of what we're trying to do. If you can get every single guy to compete to the best of his ability every day, it's going to, and you recruit competitive people, and it's a competitive game, and the conference is competitive, and so every Saturday you're competing against people that want to win. If you can get enough people that want to compete on a daily basis, then everybody's going to get better. And Jim, it's always comes down to being a team game, and if you don't have enough guys that are competitive, you're not going to be successful. Thankfully, we've got a lot of competitive people.
You do, and it shows, because your team gets better week in and week out, and that goes to the point of competition during practice. Each week the team improves, and that's important. When we come back, we'll meet one of those freshmen who has been a big contributor, but first we hear from Jeremy Van Alstyne. Says despite the bye, football still rules.
Well, Saturday I'm going to just sit down, rest, watch the games, and we have practice 2 days this week, and we'll lift another day. So just get prepared for Northwestern, and looking forward to a little rest.
Imagine you're a true freshman quarterback at Michigan. On the Monday before the season opener, the head coach names the starter, and it's not you. But an injury during the week changes everything. So 2 days before kickoff, Lloyd Carr changed Chad Henne's world.
I mean, I was so nervous going into Coach Carr's office. I didn't know what to expect. And then even just being named the starter, and then going through the walkthrough and everybody seeing you in the huddle as a starter, I was like, wow. Just looking up to the seniors, I mean, they're depending on me. And it was just a weird feeling, and everybody was just calm. They were just laid back and just like, we're behind you, Chad. And they really helped me through the situation.
The rest, as they say, is history. Henne has shown tremendous talent and poise for a 19-year-old in this pressure-packed situation.
And dropping to throw. Looks, lofts it right corner of the end zone to Abant. He has got it! Touchdown! What a grab! What a throw!
It's incredible to think how well this young Pennsylvania native has done in such a short time. The adjustment from high school to major college football is immense, and Henne has had to work his way through some major challenges.
Especially the offense, I mean, it's so complex, and you never really think that you're gonna learn the whole thing. And you come in, you're like, wow, these plays are 16 to 17 words, and you're like, how are you gonna spit this out in the time of the 25-second clock? And you just adjust. I mean, that was the biggest adjustment, trying to get the play in, read the play to the offense, and then go to the line and actually run the play.
Here's Henne back to throw. And he look, and he's firing on a post cut. Edwards has it. 10, 5, touchdown!
And then goes with the speed. I mean, the speed of the game is so much faster. I mean, the receivers are so much better than in high school, and they just go up and grab the ball. So those were pretty much the big adjustments.
Chad says the veterans have really been great in accepting him and making it easier. He's learned to have a short memory, not dwelling on mistakes, but forgetting quickly and moving ahead. And he's also learned to adjust physically to the huge difference between high school and college, the difference of speed.
In high school, you can just throw it anywhere you want. And I mean, in that area, and hopefully the receiver, you throw the ball right to the receiver. There's so many big holes in high school. And in college, I mean, you throw the ball and people just break on the ball so much faster. And you got to be picky. I mean, if he's not open, try to get down to your next progression. So it's a big change from high school.
What we sometimes forget is that he's still just a 19-year-old freshman, despite the image of his play, which in many instances looks like a seasoned veteran. He's still just a kid, and he still just likes to be a kid sometimes.
No, I'm not a big dancer or singer, but I'm just a calm, laid-back guy. But I also love, I mean, if you get to know me, I just love to goof around, be with my friends. I mean, I laugh, try to make them laugh. And that's just the person I am. I mean, I take it out on the field if we're up by a lot of points. I mean, joke around a little bit, and that's just the person I am.
Well, he's been quite a story this year at Michigan. Did you think when he came in that Chad Henne was going to have this kind of an impact? You knew he was good.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jim, we'd tried to recruit Chad for a long time. We knew he was very talented, but the thing you don't know is how they're going to handle the pressure, how they're going to handle the adjustment of being away from home, all of the things that go into learning a new offense. Just the terminology alone is an incredible thing. And calling the play in the huddle, that's before you have to do something at the line of scrimmage and the ball snaps.
All that stuff is incredible, but I look at Minnesota, Purdue, and Michigan State under pressure, huge crowds, big TV. That's where you find out the calmness, the poise of a kid that you can't measure anywhere else.
You can't measure it, and you don't know until it happens. I've never seen him change expression. I mean, he is extremely calm, and I think, a guy that does not allow all the distractions, all the pressure to get to him.
Well, he's amazing indeed. And for all of you, you can honor Chad and the rest of the Michigan Wolverine team this year at the Michigan Football Bust, especially the seniors who will receive their M rings from the University of Michigan Club of Greater Detroit. It's Monday, November 29th at Laurel Manor in Livonia. For ticket information, call 1-800-847-4764. And the Master of Ceremonies, a 1969 teammate of mine, Captain Jim Mandich. And the 1969 team will have a reunion at the bus. So we hope all of you show up to honor Michigan and the great kids on this team. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll scout Northwestern. But first, we hear from Adam Stenavich, who says it's very straightforward for the rest of the season.
Absolutely, we control our destiny. That's the way we look at it. And if we do our job for the next 2 games, who knows where we're going to end up. So we just got to focus on Northwestern and then Ohio State, and then we'll see what happens.
Michigan Replay takes you inside the locker room.
I don't think it's really a letdown. I mean, we won, we have to move on. I mean, Northwestern's going to play just as hard, so you got to, you got to get over it. We still have room for, improvement, so you're just going to have to move on and just get focused for Northwestern.
Getting focused for Northwestern, that is the job at hand for the Wolverines, and this week you've got to prepare for a team. And again, it's a team that runs a spread offense look with receivers all over the field. And I would imagine based on what Michigan State was able to do with that type of look, you got some coaching points you're able to use to your defense.
Well, there's definitely some similarities in the offense, Jim. They use the quarterback to run as a part of the offense. And Brett Bazinet, who is a returning starter, had some struggles a year ago, still led them to a bowl game. And he's their leader.
Well, with victories over Purdue and Ohio State, Randy Walker has got this team ready to play in the Big Ten.
There's no question. They've played right from the beginning of this season. They've been a football team that plays extremely hard. They're very much improved over a year ago.
And running back Noah Herron is a guy that he's a big back, but he fits this offense pretty well.
Jim, this guy is an outstanding football player. He's a big, powerful guy that is also an excellent pass receiver. So they utilize him in a lot of different ways. And of course, they throw the football if you give them the look they want. Here's Jonathan Fields running for a big touchdown on a score on a very short pass.
Maybe the biggest difference in Northwestern over the years and how they've been able to come back has been they've started to play physical, hard-nosed defense.
There's no question. Lauren Howard is the leader, one of the finest defensive linemen in the conference. And Tim McGargle leads the Big Ten in tackling. And Jim, with the number of great football players in this conference, that's saying something.
Does it give you a little bit of a head start, the fact that you had to prepare for Michigan State, which is very similar now? Does Bazinet run it as much as, say, Drew Stanton would?
Well, he hasn't in terms of all of they will bootleg a lot, keep him on the move, throwing the football. I don't think they run quite as much option, but they may look at that film and decide they want to. They have it in their offense. They have all those plays in their offense.
And what about your team against this defense? Is it they do anything different that you need to? I mean, obviously you're going to feature the run or want to.
Well, I think we want to take control of the football game from the standpoint of being able to do both. I think we're in an age where if you can't do both, then you're going to have a long day. And we've had some balance in our offense lately, but certainly we hope the weather will be better, because it's amazing thing, Jim, in the Michigan State game that both teams offensively had as much production as they did, considering the wind on that field, and that's what a lot of people lose sight of.
And really, wind is probably worse than rain. I mean, in many ways.
You know something, that's an interesting thought, and I think it's accurate, particularly on the surface that we have here at home. It's a great service, regardless of whether it's raining or not. But that wind, there's nothing you can do with it.
And quickly going into this game, overall, you're pretty healthy. I mean, we saw Jeremy Van Alstyne earlier in the show. Here's a kid that's come back. He's been able to, get healthy and contribute. You're pretty much healthy going into this game?
Well, we go into this game as healthy as we could hope to be. We've had some season-ending injuries. Of course, Matt Gutierrez had surgery over a week ago, and he's begun his rehab. But we're as healthy as we could expect to be.
All right, it's Michigan Northwestern next week at Michigan Stadium. Hey, everybody, one thing, a reminder, don't forget your Go Blue for Mott bracelets. They are on sale at Emden, Dunham's, Myers, Atlanta Bread Company, the Great Divide in Flint, Moe's Sports Shops, Let's Go Blue in Royal Oak, and the Bivouac on campus. And these wristbands, of course, raise money for a children's and women's hospital in Ann Arbor. Every dollar for the sale of these will go. So get your Go Blue for Mott wristbands, and we'll help take care of that fundraiser for the hospital.
Jim, every citizen, every student in this state wants to join this team.
Should have one.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you join that team. Join us next week right here on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy.